So let me begin firstly with the timeline that I've created shorthand. On October 30th, ad in the paper. I took the ads of the picture and I posted them on the timeline. Proper security. Make sure I get the ad in my application so that way there shouldn't be any differences later if a bar relative review or a diversity, ethnicity, inclusion issue, more of your drill sergeant standards to the numbers on the black body problem. That's something I can respect very easily. Wasn't until November 13th that I got the paper. It was either the 13th or the 14th. Whichever one of these was a Wednesday. So it looks like it was the 13th. I got the paper. It showed me that the ad was out of the paper no longer, and I wanted to find out why I hadn't got a phone call or whether for denial or just an interview call at some point in time. So I went to the office. And that's where this video comes from. I very politely was asking questions, and hopefully you can feel my frustration. Again, we can use this for evidence later. Posted, YouTube videos when this come up. Now, on November 15th, I brought out a sign out front that building, on the sidewalk on the other side, and it said, town pushing fake jobs, and Jerry came out and met me. Jerry came out from the building, and he come out there and was talking to me. Neil and him got on the phone. I overheard Neil say arrest him for protesting this issue and how this video went down. And so after he had left me, I'd asked him to quit harassing me and go inside. I told him to quit harassing me. I didn't tell him to go anywhere or to do anything. And that should be on some video that's around here somewhere if necessary. I certainly made sure that I was standing in a proper position for it. The cops were called. Officer Toros, I do believe. He had two last names, Moros Toros. And I gave him my deposition. I did say I wasn't going to leave the building, but I did. I was in and out while customers and people came in. And when the cop got there, I was outside because of that situation. But as far as Jerry just telling me I can't be in a building in the middle of winter that's a town building while I have concerns about complaint functions, I told him if he would like to remove me physically, he was more than welcome to. Otherwise, we would wait till the cops. And again, this is in their building. So if it's videotaped or audio, that's what you'll see. I came back later that day with another sign saying Jerry's not the supervisor I want. After the cop told me I can leave, I was free to leave, and he told me I could come back and protest if I like, and I did. I came back to that position. I did not bother the building. I did not do anything. I was just holding a sign outside by the road, which is a quarter mile from my house. Right? This building, all these things are very closely connected. Lived here my whole life. Cops called. Got his Fourier number, evening sign, supervisor. Okay, now we are on the 16th or the 17th, which was the weekend of this incident. Now, that was the night, I'm not sure if it was the 16th or the 17th, that Neil called me. And Neil called me my house phone at night, and I had not been back other than those two times. The 14th on that day, that morning, later that night, cops were in the middle, time-stamped it. Jerry had called me later Neil had called me later one of these nights here, and said he was on the road and wanted to talk to me about it. And, was giving me this same spiel Jerry gave me about it not being a 2-week thing. It was put in the paper without really knowing that the job was ever guaranteed. That's first red flag. Second red flag in there is that you had to be the specific board to vote on that. You made clerical errors of putting in the paper of knowing and understanding the form. You made clerical errors beyond the issue, which certainly looks like denial of entry or potential retaliation, especially when cops are called and enforcing the situation. And he told me he was recording that call, so that's on his end. If I would ask him his testimony on that, called my house phone. So on the 18th, they said that I had done some Facebook post. And again, I will slide through that entire section in just a moment, but let's get specific to the points. All right, today Neil advised me that Jordan was on Facebook ranting about the town of Hancock supervisor and making threats towards myself and Neil. Scoville stated, if that's not abuse of power, I don't know what is. But I would have to kill somebody to get help. Can't just blame me and say check his post, and can't just blame me and say check post and stop him before he kills Neil or Jerry, because they had it coming. I felt very threatened by these statements, and I am in fear of my life due to these statements. I would like to pursue charges, request an order of protection at the time, and I would love for the order of protection to not only cover myself and my residence, but also my place of employment, the town meetings. All of these statements are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. And that's his statement he must have made to them. And so we'll continue on this process. That's the day I was arrested. They came to my house that morning, asked me questions, 4 state troopers, and the town cop farther down the road. They tried to ask me some questions about the issue, and then tried to tell me about the same thing Neil said to me, Jerry said to me, and the village clerk said to me about the issue. When, again, I really had no reason for any of them to call me. I told them that I was going to pursue legal matters at this meeting, I do believe. So, I mean, that's very, very questionable about the notation here. Sorry, again, I'm trying to just be the best loner guy I can be here. And so I asked them to leave. I said, you're free to leave. And they did leave. They left my house. Again, that should be all on POV or whatever the defense or prosecution district attorney has to do to get that information to check my character and behavior. But they came back later that day, and they did arrest me, 2 of the officers from Deposit Barracks. They were very, both times, again, short of me having to ask them to leave twice, and them responding to this type of incident. Therefore, what happened, and again, them leaving, that they read me my rights, but again, I didn't know my charges realistically until I was all the way in the car. I figure after handcuffs come on, you could tell me my charges. I had to wait a long time for that, but they did come in. I asked for a lawyer when I was in the police station. They told me because I asked for a court-appointed one, there would be one at the courthouse or at the county facility waiting for me. I didn't see the judge my lawyer until I was in front of the judge in my shorts. 2 different pair of socks, standing in front of the judge and the other officer and lawyer next to me. And his name was George V. Collins. He's a Delaware County Public Defense Officer, and that'll be important for a moment because I'm having trouble contacting him, and my court case is being in limbo. But we'll continue more from the 18th. I think I've covered most of the information in there. I hope I was polite and kind. I really didn't say anything to anybody. I did say one thing in the state troopers barracks when I asked them about what my charges were, more of the morning side of that event, where, again, it's like, can you read me? Yeah, of course, that's what I had said. I read that, they read that statement to me, and I said, yeah, that's that. And we'll get to my Facebook line about that exact quote when we get to it by ping in a minute. Sorry to drag it along. After that, the 19th, 18th at night, I was released. And they had me turn over my guns and conduct the OP restraining order, which is good until 30 or 25. The end of the, let's see specifically here. I know I saw it somewhere. It is good until 3/31/25. So January, February, March, April, about the start of April here. That's when that's good. Other than not being able to get to these local meetings, I could care less. I never knew Neil, I didn't know Neil, and I don't generally go down to the town office. So that's not a big deal for me. But I did have to hand in my guns. They gave me an order of surrender for my 22. Well, my dad handed down to me his 22. My granddad's 12-gauge shotgun, and my great-granddad's, his dad's, 35 pump-action shotgun, or pump-action rifle. And those are heirlooms to me that, again, not knowing in terms of the case here what's going on, how to do. But I did all that. I was scheduled from the 18th of that night to show up at court at the 25th. This building right here. It has connected on the side, and they all share the office together. It's all the same phone number, or at least a different aspect of the same phone number. As far as I can get for you, anyways. And that was scheduled for, I know I'm running a little long. The 11/25 at 1 o'clock. So November 25th at 1 o'clock, I was scheduled to come here, and I did. No lawyer had called me and told me it was canceled, but when I got there, O'Brien had told me my case was canceled because of conflict of interest. I had left. I got there at a little before 1. I had left. I called my lawyer. He said somebody would be in contact with me. He didn't say I would be in contact with me. He didn't say the court would be in contact with you, a state trooper or somebody will be in contact with you, or you'll get a letter. He did say you'll get a letter, but I'm still waiting for a letter and anything. And here it's December 4th. And because of that, I'm sitting in limbo, essentially, with no clue. And I called George today, trying to get him at 8 o'clock, and I still haven't got him. I haven't heard back from him. So I don't know, and I would have expected a phone call to know, like, hey, at least let me know that something had gone through and we're doing things. So this is really a habeas corpus kind of thing I'm worried about, as much as the Sixth Amendment thing I'm worried about. And as far as all other details in here, some of the nature of the working sites, the 13th Amendment, what the 7th would do, because there's no complaint forms or things inside of here, and there are many concerning things. So I'm going to pause, I'm going to stop this, and then I'll do the other video of my timeline if this isn't running too long, just so you can stop, pause, and read the sections.